We had to talk about the map string when we say that it's the format, right? String dynamic is the format in which most JSON objects come from communication over the internet. So we'll be using map for that information. Sometimes you have, let's say you have a page or a screen on the app that you are building, and then there's a particular page where you have to list some number of items. So let's have a look at this use case. So this is an example of a page, right? From here to here, this is a page, and then on the page you can see there is this card and there is this card. So there may be multiple of these cards, right? But then this particular card has the same kind of data, right? If you come to this one, the name is Sunshine Microcredits. It is active. The location is this one, created yesterday. Yeah, so these are all information related to just this card, right? So the name is this one, the active is this one, the location is the one here, created is the one here. And then the same thing, if you come to the second card, the name is different, the status is inactive, the location, the hometown, they all have applied here. So the hometown and yesterday could be different, right? But then at least we know that they follow the same data, the same structure. So you have a name, you have a status, you have a location, you have date created. Those, when you come to just the first card, that's the information. If you come to the second card too, you also have name, status, location, and created. Then the values are the one that are pretended, but all of them have the same kind of data format, right? So we need to print all of them. So to print most things on a page like this, right, to follow up each other for you to be able to scroll, they are actually obtained as a list of items. So we use a list to group all the items and then paste them on the page, right? So keep in mind that each object in the list, has some number of information and have labels, name, status, location, and um, um, date created. So this one might be just one portion of the element. So right now we are going to be using a list, right? What we are going to be actually be tackling today is list list of maps, basically. So we need to keep each component in there. So we say a list is like this list, and then inside this we put the data type, right? We say string, for example, and then we have data, that the variable is equal to, then I have a list here. Let me close it, and inside it we need to put items in such a way that first, right, um second. So you need to make sure that each item is a of data type string, right? But then regarding the list on a page, for example, what we are going to put is that each item or each item like this one, right? Each card, for example, has some group information related to just this card, and then this one to group of information related to just this card. But then all of them, this card are in a list, and that's the list that we pasted over here. And the only two items are in the list so far for two cards, right? And the two cards, each card has information on it, right? So each information is actually stored in a map. Each information for this one is stored in a map and then distributed over this card over here. So first, for us to replicate that, we are supposed to have, let me use the map first. Each information is a map, right? So first there is a name. We are replicating that one, name, right? And there is status. There is status. There is what, how do you call it? Location, and then created. So date created, right? So the name, that's row, status is active, for example, and then the location can be let's say I did home there, right? So over here created, so let's say today, right? So this is just one object. This one can just refer to one of the card, right? So that for each, on each card, when you call name, the appropriate name will come, right? So let me call this, instead of calling it ingredient, let's call it info one, right? Let me call another one. Let's call it, let's do another one, right? I'm just going to copy this one and then replicate another v. So this one is going to be info2. By this person, the name is now let's say Samuel. Status is inactive, or let's say pending, for example. The status is pending. Location is, let's say, work um, created last week. Okay, so this is what we have. So we have two data, info1 and info2. This is for card 1 and this is for card 2. For us to be able to distribute them on a page, right, they need to be put in a list, and the list that we have here is this one. So we need to put that in a list. So what happening is that for this list, I'm going to put info1 comma and info2 inside, right? So info1 and info2 are in this list, but then there is an issue of data type. The data type that we are actually, we say is a string, right? It's a string that the list is accepting. The list is accepting a string. But what we have done over here is that the data type is actually, info1 is not of data type string, it's of data type map, right? So this map is what you have to copy. I'm copying that data type, and instead of having a string inside here, we are going to paste. That's what we had. So this is the right data type. So it's a list of a map of string. Each item is a map, and then for each item is a map of string against dynamic. That's like how we did. That's why I took my time to do map for you guys. This is each map, and then for that map we are keeping them in a list, and a list always come in the format like this, right? The arrow, and then inside the arrow, within the arrow, we need to put the data type of each item that we are keeping, and each item inside here is of data type map string dynamic. So this whole thing is for each item, the data type of each item, and the data type of the item that we have so far, each of them is map string, and that's what we are storing inside the list. And then over there now we can print this list, right? We are going to print data. So let me print data for us to see what we have. So I'm going to print data. So that main dot that. So you see it's printed, and then inside it we have home created and order. This is first one, comma, and then the second one, Samuel also goes, and then end of the list. So this is how we distribute each item. Maybe so for the info, for example, like you can use for each item, you can go through and then make sure that you be able to print the information for each item. That's when we are using the for loop and all the other loops. We will do that when we get there, right? But then you get the information that this is how we mostly receive data, especially when you are printing a list of items on a page. You need to reserve them to this this is info1 with its information created on this card. This is info2, and all of them are in a list, and the list is the one distributed on this particular page. If there are many of them, you should be able to scroll through all of them, right? So a list will contain a map of items, and then based on the items, right, you call them appropriately at the right places so that they can be nicely put on the card.